If you've watched our most recent mining farm tour, then you'll have seen the scale at which Bitcoin mining has become industrialized. Gone are the days where you can mine massive amounts of BTC with a single mining rig. But despite this, many still venture into the mining industry, for better and for worse. Our guests today have a wealth of knowledge and experience working with ASIC miners, the specialized hardware used for mining cryptocurrencies, having worked at the very facility Vosk toured, the Core Scientific Dalton, Georgia mining farm. They will share with us the ins and outs of maintaining and repairing these machines, as well as some challenges a large mining operation can face on the corporate side. As you're probably aware, the crypto mining industry is a constantly evolving landscape, and the rise and fall of mining farms is a testament to that. With Core Scientific having just recently filed for bankruptcy, this interview will give us another glimpse into the inner workings of a now failed mining operation, and the impact that market conditions can have on the industry. Join Vosk today as he delves deeper into the world of crypto mining and gain a unique perspective on the mining farm industry from those who have worked within it.
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Vosk, and I'm here at Core Scientific, and I'm here with Dakota, not State. He is the main repair guy. It's a really lame joke, man. So Dakota is the main guy here when it comes to repairs. So could you just tell us a little bit about what you do on a day-to-day basis?
Well, on a normal day, we have our guys out on the floor, pull miners out that they're having problems with, usually reoccurring miners. The first thing I do when I get in is I check the rack to see what they've pulled, and I start diagnosing. Typically, diagnosing takes anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, not too long usually, unless there's some kind of major crazy problem.
Foobar.
Yeah, there we go.
So, how many miners do you think you repair in a day?
Well,
big facility.
With my schedule and how much I get pulled around, myself, I end up getting about 20, 25. But my tech, who's on third shift, who doesn't have any distractions, he gets anywhere from 50 to 60 done a night. He's pretty good.
Do you see I guess then 70 miners a day or so that about on average need repairs?
Well, right now we're on a little bit of a backlog, just because we got project after project we're going on, and I'm focusing on the projects, and I have about half of his time devoted to projects.
Yep, we saw you earlier making some Franken rigs. What was going on with that?
Well, we've identified load hash rate on a lot of these machines, so we wanted to get the good parts out of them. That way we're not just wasting power and wasting good hash rate that we can have on miners pulling a full.
So you're just taking the good parts and just kind of putting them into an optimized rig basically, and you just chucking the bad hash boards, or probably out of warranty?
Yeah, they're for sure out of warranty. I think they're going to be recycling the old hash boards, but I'm not 100 on it.
Going green, man.
How many miners yourself?
No, I'm trying to save up to get a couple, just so I can tinker around with them. But I've even tried to get through and see if we can get some of our own out here hosted, but I don't think that's going to happen. But
so, how long have you been into cryptocurrency? How'd you get into it?
Well, really, I was trying to get into the IT field and try to work my way into there, and I ended up here, and I really took off with it. That and the whole data science type deal, I just flowed really well into it. And,
how long you been here?
Since February, so almost a year now.
Very cool. So do you have any coins you kind of gravitate towards, you like? You a Bitcoin maximalist yet, or you hoping for alt season? What's going on?
I actually haven't been following pricing that much. I mean, I've been so consumed with work here.
Yeah.
Since I picked up repair manager, I've been go nonstop. So
you run the blockchains, you don't buy them.
Yeah.
I like it. As far as repairs go, what's the most common unit you see go down? Like what do you see the most in your repair office?
That's actually a good question.
That's why I had the light bulb.
See, here at this facility, we have a lot of 921s. I don't know how much of the floor you saw, but that's the most common right now. But these machines, I believe they got them used. They've been out there a while.
So 921s.
Yeah, for sure.
Or what about like second most common?
I'd have to say S9s, only because that would be the second.
Just the sheer number of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you see these miners go bad, what's the most common problem? Is it just a fan down? We have a dead hash board, controller go bad?
Typically, it's the fan. We try to get the guys out on the floor to change them. So I have way more fan repairs done than repairs here, or repairs in my shop. Usually when they've troubleshooted all they could, they send it my way. If there's a second most part that fails, it would be control boards, because those tend to just
go.
stop.
Yeah.
They don't want to pull an IP. They don't want to, take the new firmware, or whatever the case may be.
So what's the most annoying repair that you do? And to mimic Miss Vosk's face is when you get this in, you're like,
It would definitely be the Avalons right now, because you got to put down the thermal paste. You got to put thermal paste on the chips, and it's a whole stacking process. And with the S9s, it's in, out, and it's everything. All the others are just really easy.
Yeah. And so with that, do you use anything special for the thermal paste, or?
We just use just really regular thermal paste.
Which brand?
Well, it's hard to buy bulk thermal paste that's really decent.
Yeah.
From the looking around I did, the kind we have is relatively decent.
Well, what do you have?
I'd have to go see what it is. I don't know.
So you're the lead tech here. You run your team. Do you kind of also oversee the repairs at the other sites, or if they're bringing on someone for, say, like the Marble facility, would you train them? Would they come here and train with you, and then once you're like, okay, this guy actually has some idea of what he's doing, you can send him on his way down there, or how does that work?
We actually have one up in Marble. His name is Anthony. He's a really cool guy. It's kind of funny. He knows more about S9s than I do, and I know more about Avalons than he does, and we kind of cross-train each other.
So you guys like the yin and yang?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, so head-to-head, who do you think would win a repair battle?
I would say my team for sure.
My man. Calling you out, Anthony. What's up? Didn't even see you when I was at Marble. Hope he's pissed. Give him some shit. I probably met him and didn't even realize. I don't know. That'd be even worse. You'd be like, screw you, dude. I met you. Do you have any tips or advice, or just kind of any at-home miners, like initial steps when it comes to troubleshooting? Because countless times, we've dealt with rigs that go down, and it's just, I would never say it's a fun time. And GPU, learning how to troubleshoot a GPU rig is a whole different animal than an ASIC rig, and just kind of getting comfortable taking them apart and so forth. So any tips or recommendations or things you wish you knew earlier?
I know this is gonna sound completely obvious, but just find your bad part. If you have something else to test it on, that's the best way to go. Because at first I was looking at these Avalons like I don't know what's bad. I mean, I ended up picking apart the log, and then I ended up finding there were errors in the log. So I had to go back and figure out where my error was and all that. Just if you can figure out the bad part, I mean.
So is your troubleshooting process, like if you got an issue, you just say you're gonna swap the control board with another one is good, or you're gonna swap a hash board? Is that kind of what you're saying?
That, but follow it in a linear process. So say the fan's bad. Well, we want to follow that line all the way to the control board, because it connects, fan cable, control board. You want to figure out what down that line, and you want to follow it and find out what's breaking that line. I guess that'd be a better way to explain it.
So like when you do that, is it just like, okay, I'm gonna swap the fan, still doesn't work, and then you just kind of move down, or is that essentially the process?
Mm-hmm. It takes a bit longer, but it definitely squeezes all you can out of your money.
Because otherwise you're just kind of throwing parts at it. Okay, well, cool, Dakota. It was a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on the channel and just talking about what you do. Got any final thoughts or words for him? Drop a bomb on him, man. Something.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill.
All right, Dakota. It was a pleasure, man.
Thanks, man.
Handshake. What's going on, guys? It's Vosk. We're here at Core Scientific, and I have Noah, who is known for
long pauses, mostly. But I'm the SVP of Mining Performance here at Core Scientific. We joined via acquisition of our company Honeyminer. Mac and Windows application, 30 seconds, click, mine across 36 different crypto networks, automatically switching and routing between them, get paid out in Bitcoin.
So this isn't Core Scientific specific, but so since the acquisition, how are you balancing this as well as Honeyminer?
We'd started working with Core originally in a commercial capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Just across our farms, we run so many different kinds of equipment that it's really just about what are the software tweaks. And there's sort of a whole stack of mining, everything from what's at the bare metal, what is the firmware you're running, how are you treating that particular piece of equipment, all the way up to pool layer and network transport, a bunch of different stuff to maximize basically number of hashes off of a piece of equipment that you made an investment in, and just continue to optimize and improve everything that we can.
So basically, you've got a lot going on.
We're not for lack of things to do.
That's absolutely accurate. What are some of the hurdles you've hit, trying to optimize not only a mining farm, but a mining farm of this magnitude? This is, either already or on track to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, mining farms, especially when you combine all of the facilities. North America, how do you optimize that, and what have the hurdles been for that? And just, that's a lot of machines to manage.
Yeah, I would say the challenges are always when you run a lot of different gear, there's little idiosyncrasies between many different machine types and OSs, and so that lets us learn on some, and then others, things that you already know how to do very well don't necessarily work out of the box. It's always just about getting everyone aligned and seeing the big picture of what we're trying to do while racking and stacking hundreds or thousands of machines a day.
I like that. Racking and stacking. I feel like you need to flex when you say that or something.
Yeah, I give so much credit to our data center techs and the folks on the floor day to day, lifting heavy equipment in hot temperatures and cold temperatures. That's a tough job, and I think we're really fortunate to have some just really talented, dedicated people who make the trains run on time here.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't know what it's like working on a farm until your stuff goes down in the dead heat of summer or the freezing winter, and it's crazy. You're pouring sweat trying to make sure it doesn't land on gear sometimes, and then the other side you can't even feel your fingers anymore, and you may be trying to change a riser really quick. It's an experience.
It's I would say of the intersection of digital worlds and physical, hard, difficult work, I think mining really just sits at the collision of those worlds in a way that's kind of cool and interesting.
That's very true, and that was a big draw to me, to just get into the space, and especially mining. I thought it was so cool that you have this hardware, it's tangible in this digital currency, this digital world. And just, it made it so much more real to me. It's, you can talk about the blockchain, you can analyze the code and everything, but when you see all this hardware and you see massive facilities like this that back the blockchain,
it's a new digital commodity. So in my first job, actually out of undergrad, I spent a lot of time on oil and gas facilities all over North America, and so you just see these incredible amounts of capital expenditure where deciding to go or no go on a particular phase was roiled by the increase and decrease in oil and gas prices. And so in some ways this is less of an industry like let's build the next app, let's build the next Facebook, and it looks a lot more like commodity production than I think most people give it credit for.
That's very interesting and a good point of view.
Yeah, and one of the other things that we've discovered is the same way, if you look at Standard Oil from the early days of build out of oil infrastructure, they won and were able to do so well by people who purchased their products because they invested not just in one part of the process. This is pre sort of breakup and all that crazy stuff. But they would actually invest. Some refineries would buy barrels for the distilled kerosene that comes out. Standard Oil would not only build their own, lots of people built their own, but they would have the wood chopped and kiln dried off-site to reduce on the shipping cost of wood that they would then assemble into barrels at the facility. And so we sort of see that mining's similar in that you just have so many layers in the value stack that if you can optimize each and every one of those layers, it's 1,000 small things, there's no magic bullets.
That's very interesting, and it shows just, when we were walking through the farm, just the very obvious and clear modular design, even from like the thermal boards. I mean, a relatively inexpensive piece, you cut it out and you can run this gear. If you have changeover, you can replace that and run different gear. And even saw how on one of the build outs, you can remove the filters right there and you can bring a scissor lift in. And it's just clear that you have thought about everything, top to bottom, and like you said, just analyzing each layer.
Yeah, and like similarly in the software, it's about you have a machine, the machine has a fan failure or has something that causes a ticket to be created in our software. Then you have to tie the digital to the physical and go make it easy for that data center tech to pull out the scissor lift and access that machine to know which rack it's on and just be able to turn around that ticket very quickly.
And again, from the hardware level, we saw that where, we see even labels down to the Ethernet cord. So this gear it goes with this connection right
We're
here.
in the business of mapping physical into digital, and that's
I've been confused in my own farm when I had, like 30 rigs. So I can only imagine when you have, hundreds of rigs staring you in the face and like, I think it's that one. That one feels a little cooler. That's not the place you want to be.
Again, this is interesting. Some of the machines more than others actually have more indicator lights on them. So some of the machines in the front row, if you were walking around, they actually have a lot of LEDs, and it's pretty easy to walk down the line and see that machine's not at 100%. But for many or much of the equipment, it's you have to be a lot more surgical about how you set these things up and triage them.
So what has been what's like the most interesting and fun part about your day?
I love meeting all of the different folks throughout the world who are involved in the revolution that is crypto, and I just think that mining, again, at the intersection of physical and digital worlds, just has the kind of most collision with reality, and getting out there and getting sites set up and working with folks from all over the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Was he saying you got to go?
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much. It's a pleasure to meet here, and we'll see you next time.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Noah. I appreciate it. And isn't he good on camera?
I gotta jump.
If you're interested in mining yourself, then something like the plug-and-play Evergreen miner would probably be perfect for you. Doesn't make much noise, doesn't produce much heat, doesn't consume much electricity, and it's profitable. It's hard drive mining, and it's really easy to use. And with my Evergreen mining rig, I'm earning $60 a month in passive income. If that sounds interesting to you, I've got a link out down below that not only supports the channel, but also a coupon code that saves you $20.